views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Get ready for a game changer. Sarah Westall is bringing you Business Game Changers Radio. Mondays at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sarah will bring you leading experts, visionaries, and newsmakers who provide the best commentary on big issues and cutting-edge innovations. Sarah's 20 years as a business executive will help you think like an entrepreneur with expertise, energy, and attitude. Now here's your host, Sarah Westall.
Welcome to Business Game Changers. I'm Sarah Westall, and you're listening to Conscious Business Radio on the Transformation Talk Radio Network. There are over 300 million people in the world who are colorblind or have color vision deficiency. In fact, that means that there's 1 in 12 men and about 1 in 200 females that have some sort of color blindness. And unfortunately, I am one of them, 1 in 200 females, and I get the lucky gene. My color blindness is very, very mild, so I'm lucky. I can pass almost all colorblind tests, but some of those dot tests, you know, those pictures in the dots that they used to sell all the time in the malls, I couldn't see the pictures in the dots a lot of times. It's because my red colorblind, I have muted green, and I don't really see it. The red green kind of blends together, which is hard to explain. I don't even know what it really is because I don't know what it's not. It's really interesting, but. That being said, there is a company called EnChroma that have figured out lenses for glasses that allow colorblind people to see color for the first time as the way nature intended it. And they don't just have a filter on the lens like a lot of other companies have tried to do, where they change the colors so that you can see the color naturally, but then it distorts other colors. This actually gets to the source of the problem, and they bring more light into your eye so that you can see the colors as the way they're meant to be seen. And they've done a ton of research into this field, and it works for 80+% of the people that use this. And imagine somebody that only saw gray for green for the first time in their life being able to see the color green. It's just an amazing development, and this is just shows the amazing time that we're alive. So today we are bringing the CEO, Andrew Schmeder, to the program, and he is going to talk about their invention and how it works and how they're bringing it to market, who it works for. You can even get prescription lenses for this stuff, and they're working on contact lenses. It's just amazing what is being created. And I guess I have a little more into it because I have this. I know what it's like to not see pictures, you know, those dot pictures in the mall and not be able to see the picture. My father has it worse than me, where if there's a stop sign that's embedded into, you know, that's amongst a bunch of trees, he can't really see he can't often see the stop sign. So he has a worse problem than I do. So I'm very excited to have him use these glasses and see how they work. But for me, when I tried them, I was amazed at how much deeper green I could see. It's really fascinating. So we'll learn about how they work, what they do for people, how they work for people, and how you can get them, and what their strategy is for bringing them to market. It's a fascinating discussion that I have about these. And then the other conversation that I have today is going to be how to sell your company for the highest multiple possible. I have Gary Miller from SDR Ventures, and he's amazing. His company, he sold to IBM for the highest multiple in IBM's history. And he now helps companies sell their company. And he's been doing this for quite some time. And he really helps companies get the highest multiple they can and earn the most money they can from their businesses. And you'll learn a bunch about that. So now I'm going to start with the colorblind conversation and welcome Andrew to the program. Hi, Andy. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
So you have an amazing product that they're glasses, but they allow colorblind people to see color. Do they really work?
Yeah, that's right. So about 1 in 12 men, or 8% of men, are colorblind. And there's different types and extents of what we commonly call red-green color blindness. And what we've found is that these glasses are effective for about 80% of cases of red-green color blindness. And if anyone wants to find out, we have a test on our website. You can go there and it'll measure your type and extent and give you a sort of recommendation as to how well the glasses are going to help you.
So now, is it just red, green? People that kind of see colors, but how about people that don't see red at all?
Yeah, so there's a type of color vision deficiency called protanopia, where people have a very difficult time seeing red. It appears very dark. And that turns out to be the most severe type of color blindness. And it's more difficult to help, although we have had reports of people saying that the glasses do help them when they have protanopia. So once again, you can go to the test and it'll
tell you what you have and whether it can help
exactly.
you. And and if you can't see green at all, can it help with that?
Yeah, so usually those are called deutans or deuteranomalous, and that's one of the types of red-green color blindness. And usually the EnChroma glasses work quite well with that type. We have basically over a 90% success rate.
So now what do they see when, like, they might just see grays, shades of gray, and then they put on the glasses and they can see green?
Yeah, so actually there's a lot of sort of misconceptions about the nature of color vision deficiencies. And in general, these people can see colors, and often they have a pretty complete color, what we call a color naming vocabulary. But they'll have difficulty perceiving certain particular colors, and they'll often confuse certain combinations of colors. So a very common one is actually blue versus purple. So either they'll see something purple and they kind of won't see the redness to it, and they'll just say, oh, that's blue. And another common one that is confused a lot is pink versus white. So what's kind of interesting is that actually it's usually, for a colorblind person, if they were to see red and green, they can usually identify red versus green, but it's actually some of these more subtle combinations that is where the confusion starts to really
when the stuff comes together. That's why you can't see those dot tests and stuff. All those posters that used to be popular where there were pictures inside the dots, and
that's right.
You couldn't see it.
Yes.
So now this would fix that for you. If you had glasses on, would you be able to see those pictures?
So the glasses, they're what we call an assistive device, similar to how reading glasses help you focus on that close vision. These glasses can amplify your sense of color in certain situations. But it's also important to note that the glasses are not a cure for color blindness, or they're not necessarily.
Well, they're glasses. You take them off and you're back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like putting on a pair of glasses. I can't see the street sign. I put them on, I can see it. So is it like that, where I put my glasses on and now suddenly I can see the pictures in the dots?
I would say it helps you in certain situations, and it doesn't necessarily help you overcome the Ishihara dot pattern test. And this is kind of a complicated topic, but essentially what we know is that there are ways of actually designing glasses that help you essentially cheat on that test. And when we were approaching this project, we really wanted to stay clear of those kinds of claims, which go into a type of kind of a not really reputable scientific basis for how the glasses work. So we decided to really approach it from the ground up and say, what are the underlying causes of color vision deficiency? And then we created a computer model that enabled us to sort of quantitatively measure how much improvement a particular lens design could offer a person. And then within there, we optimize and try to maximize the effectiveness. But all that said, at the end of the day, we don't certify that these glasses can be used to pass any particular color vision screening test. And in particular, some of those tests are employed in occupations where having a particular standard of color vision is required. So say you're flying an airplane, it's a very high stakes job potentially.
Sure.
And we're not in a position right now where we can say, oh, these glasses will enable you to do that.
Okay, so you're protecting your butt. Yeah. You don't want to get into that scenario. And
yes.
And people, please don't think that this is going to be a miracle working thing. But can they allow you to see pictures in the dots that you couldn't see before? In some cases, I know you don't want to claim that. I know you don't want to, say that this does work and then people sue you. But for some people, does it really do that?
So here's what I can say is that for some people, if you take these tests, some people, they might be able to improve their score. But these tests are actually used as a screening test. They can be very difficult.
Well, not just the test. I'm just thinking about those posters on the wall. Can I see the picture that's
like
the poster? Yeah.
The poster.
Because if it's allowing me to bring my red green into proper, dimension, if you will, then I should be able to see some of those things that I couldn't see before.
That's a possibility. We would have to do an experiment to try. But what I can say is that we have some customers who are like artists, like a painter. I know there's this woman in Australia who's been very much enjoying the glasses, and she's a painter. And it's kind of interesting. You can see some of her videos online where she kind of makes a painting and then looks at it again with EnChroma glasses and is able to kind of see a new dimension of texture and vibrancy in the color. And now is what see, I have the red green color, but that's why it's so fascinating to me. You sent me those glasses and I put on like, oh, wow. So now is that what average people see? Is that what others are seeing and I'm not? I would say for people who have normal color vision, it's hard to understand, what it's like to have color vision deficiency. But generally, when you have normal color vision, there's just a much more clear distinction between colors. Like, something is red versus something that's green. Like they seem very dissimilar. Like there's nothing, they're very clearly distinguished. And then we have this overlap in your red and green retinal cones. It creates sort of less of a difference. So it's not as obvious.
So now well, that's very interesting because we see it different than they do, but they've never seen it the way we have either.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think, if people with normal color vision could, walk in the shoes of a colorblind person for a day, they would really change their opinion about, how the use of color in the world and how signs and information is presented and stuff like that.
What would they? Oh, you mean they would do things?
They would say, "Oh, wow, this is actually, more of an issue than you might think."
Well, see, I don't have a very severe one. I have a very mild one, but I just putting on those glasses, I was like, wow, this is really beautiful. I mean, more beautiful than what I'm used to. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My eye doctor always told me I probably just compensated and it's pretty mild. But my dad has it worse than I do. And I don't know. I'm pretty excited to try these out in more like going out and around.
Yeah.
But it just, my fascination is that's how everybody else sees the world.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Oh, wow. And
yeah,
so
it's pretty neat. We recommend people wear them for a couple of weeks in a variety of different situations at least. And then, you'll see all kinds of new stuff.
So. How do you know that they work for people? Like, how do you know that that's allowing people that have color blindness to actually